Welcome to another deep dive into leadership. And today we're joined by Tia Cristy from tipsfromtia.com. Tia, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. This is such a pleasure.
All
I
right.
always love speaking to you.
Well, let's kick things off. In a couple sentences, tell us what you do.
So I go by a communications specialist. So basically, what that is I help people communicate better, whether it be one-on-one, whether it be you know personal, professional. I help individuals, large groups, all in how to communicate better. So I think we can all use a little bit of work in that department. And I just know the science and the personal aspects behind it. So I've been able to share those I guess talents with others, and it's been wonderful. What a rewarding profession I've decided to go into.
All right.
It's
Can't
wonderful.
think of anything more important. I think it was George Bernard Shaw that said, the problem with communication is the assumption too many people make that it actually took place.
Exactly. Yes, and Joyce did say that. It was accurate. Nothing. I love when things like that are said because I'm like, no truer words have ever been said. I think that a lot of times people think that we are having a conversation and we're communicating well and they can separate, and they had two completely different conversations. It's like looking at the sky. What color blue do you see? So, being able to communicate, I think, is something that we learn to do at a very, very young age. But the more vocabulary we got, the worse we got at communicating. So I like to help that.
Very good. Next up, you've told us a bit about what you do. Tell us why you do it. What is your purpose?
Wow, that's a great question. I think the purpose is to help others. When I think about all the things that could be prevented by having better communication, it just shows what a deficit we are having, in society where people are not communicating. People, in relationships, they tend to bite their tongue because they don't want to say the wrong thing. Or, in businesses, you have employees that don't speak up because they don't know if their ideas count. And, I love stories when I hear the CEO had a conversation with the janitor and implemented this new process. And,
Mhm.
all of a sudden it's saved millions of jobs, or, something like that. And it just shows that, just having some kind of communication can really make a big change in the world.
And no question. And that kind of leads into my next question, which is
Sure.
what are the top benefits your clients receive from working with you?
Oh, wow. So, well, I think first and foremost, they build confidence. I think that's the number one thing that people get out of it. And I'm talking about people that are on all levels, all capacities. We got, I'll just use that, the janitors from, the
Mhm.
the CEOs to everyone else in between that I've worked with. And I think that when I can help people to kind of break out of that shell, um, it's just so wonderful. But then, on the financial side, I've had many individuals and companies tell me that their ROI after learning these different communication techniques, it can really improve the company. Because yes, a lot of times people know their pitch, but they don't know how to connect. They don't know how to really get in there and provide that human side. So I teach both aspects of it, and it's really important. You can't really be successful with one without the other, I think.
No, no argument, no argument. And to get your customers or clients engaged in that communication, as you point out, increases your ROI. It's not enough to just say things off the script. You actually have to communicate to establish that ROI for you and for your customer and at the same time.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think people don't realize what all goes into communication. I think they think that it's just words,
Mhm.
and it's more than that. It's the importance of communication, the art form of it is, our words, yes, speaking with our natural voice, but then also, how do we communicate with others? How do we listen? What's our body language? All of that goes into communication and people just discount it. It's remarkable. So when you can add all the different elements into it, you'll get a better return.
Now, those are some of the things your clients get from you. What
Mhm.
lessons have you learned from working with your clients?
Wow, I feel like I learn a lot all the time. I love that question because it really is their story that I'm learning. When I work with a client, it's um, learning what they are doing and how they are impacting the world. And I feel like it's a gift for me to be part of that. So one of the things that I love to tell people is, I may not know the cure for cancer, but I can give voice to somebody that does. And
Mhm.
I think that that is such a powerful ripple effect that happens in the world. So I'm learning from my clients on a daily basis. I just love it.
Now, if I'm listening to this and I'm a CEO, what
Yeah.
are the characteristics of my business that would tell me I should reach out to you?
Well, I think the most beautiful part about what I do is it's for everybody. I usually say don't cast that wide of a net, but
Mhm.
communication is in everything that we do. So if a CEO is listening and saying, I think I might need some help with this, right? It all depends. I like to kind of curate it for what the client actually needs, right? So let's
Mhm.
say they're having issues with connecting with their team. I come in and we can do a group session and we can work through all of those. Also, I've worked with teams where it's the sales. They're needing improvement on how they connect with the customers, the potential customers, whether it be cold calling or knocking on doors, whatever. I go in and I kind of help the team, and we go through a lot of trust exercises and a lot of different exercises to really build that up. And then I also work with companies bringing me in because soft skills is a big thing right now, and it's so important to realize that. But they'll have me come in and we'll talk about how to make things better in the home space, how to communicate better in home life and personal life, because when that's not going okay, it's bleeding into the work. And believe it or not, we have these conversations and
Mhm.
then, I get a report like 6 months later and they're like, man, the improvement has been substantial. So I love being able to really dive into all different sectors of communication.
Okay. Well, that kind of leads me to my next question, which is you're a Vistage speaker, and so
Yes.
you're working with small and mid-sized businesses. What are the differences or areas for small and mid-sized businesses that you've seen that need the most help or could benefit the most from working with you?
Yeah. So, I what I find to be so interesting is it really does come down to confidence levels. Again, um, people don't want to look stupid. That's the biggest thing. People would rather die than look stupid in this world, and I help people get over that. That's my biggest thing. I create a safe space where I help companies, individuals not care about that so much anymore and really get into like the nitty gritty. So, when I work with smaller businesses, it's much more intimate to be able to come in and really get to know each individual. And like I said, first and foremost, I'm creating that safe space. So I'm able to really see what what's the hindrance? What is the holdup with somebody, feeling like they can get the job done all the way in such a way where it's authentic and it's supporting the company. It's a really, really cool process. And I love being able to do that. I mean, I walk away, I think, feeling reinvigorated, I can't even talk today. See, this is what happens. But
Hmm?
I feel so happy to be able to do this with them. And, it really just ignites, I think, the camaraderie and the space that these people are working in. So thank you. I
Okay.
will get that word. I'll call you later. I'll be like, that's the word I was trying to get.
Invigorated. Yes.
Thank you.
Uh,
It just wasn't coming out.
the
Invigorated.
a little different question,
Yes.
and this is a few years down the road,
Yes.
but when all's said and done, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want your legacy to be?
Hmm. I always say I like I like being known as that trusted resource. I like people to be able to trust me and know that I have the
Mhm.
best intentions for them, and that I was I was a friend that they could count on, that could help them, that supported them, that was their cheerleader. Because I think everybody needs someone to cheer us on in life. And, again, going back to that, nobody wants to look stupid. When we know that somebody's sitting there saying, you can do this, you can do this, um, man, it's so uplifting, isn't it? I mean, we can really, take on giants when we feel we have the support of others. And I think that um, I want people to remember me that way as I help them slay giants.
Very cool. And no question, we all want to have a teammate that we know has our back. So thank you for that. What is the best way for someone to reach out to you?
Oh, well, I would say LinkedIn always is a
Mhm.
great spot to get me. And tips from Tia. So
Mhm.
Tia at tips from Tia. Um, no, wait. I'm sorry. It's tips from Tia at Gmail. I want to give that one
There we
because
go.
I
All
think
right.
that, yeah, yeah. So tips
In
from
this
Tia at
multiple email world,
gmail.com.
you want to make sure we come in the
I
right
know.
door.
Exactly, exactly. Because I have the business side one, but it gets lost in the shuffle. So this is the one where people can kind of get me personally. They're not getting an assistant or anything like that, and we can really dive in. We can set up time and we can dive in to talk. And then LinkedIn, it's Tia Cristy, Tiacristy, no H. And just connect with me there. Send me a DM, and we can set up time as well. So, yeah. It's just great.
Okay.
It's great being able to connect with everybody.
Absolutely.
We live
And
in a good society.
I'll make sure that your email is on the screen also as we record this. First of all, Tia, just thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful. And I hope people listening got some value out of it for sure.
Yep, I know they did. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Tetro. I'm an executive coach and I lead a Vistage peer advisory group for CEOs. If you'd like to learn more about tips from Tia or Vistage, please reach out. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you on our next deep dive. Bye for now.